Hi y'all, Crystal here from ChristaCoDesign. Today we're working up the Chiaro Square, which is made with worsted weight yarn and a 5mm hook. This is an 8" by 8" crochet square. Start with a slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to use foundation double crochets to get started, so I will chain 2 and work into the first chain I made. I'll link up a tutorial for that method if you need more help on that. If you prefer to do a chain start, you can start with a chain of 29, double crochet in the third chain from your hook, and in each chain across. Those skip stitches won't count as a stitch. And I'm just going to keep working until I have 27 stitches. Okay, once you have 27 double crochets, it's time to turn your work. And we're going to start with the chain 1. Going back into that same stitch, we're going to place a half double crochet, and this will be our first stitch of the row. The chain 1 there does not count. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then in the following stitch we're going to place a half double crochet, chain 1, go back into the same stitch and place another half double crochet. Now we're going to skip the next stitch and do that again in the following stitch. And that will be our repeat across this row until we have 2 stitches left. Okay, when I have 2 stitches left in the row, I'm going to skip one and place a half double crochet in the last stitch of the row. You'll have 38 stitches, and that's counting the half double crochets and the chain 1s across. Now we'll turn, and for row 3 we're going to start with the chain 3. Then we're going to skip the half double crochet from the row before. We're going to work into the space here, the chain space. We're going to place 2 double crochets here. Your chain 3 will count as the first double crochet of the row for row 3. Skip the half double crochets, work 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space for each set across the row. Okay, when we get to the last 2 stitches of the row, we're going to skip one and place a double crochet in the last. For row 3 you'll have 27 stitches. Now for row 4 we're going to chain 1, and that chain 1 will count as our first stitch of the row. So we won't work into this very first one, we'll start in the next stitch and we're going to place a single crochet in that stitch. You can use a stitch marker to mark that first chain 1 if you need help, because you're going to work into it on the next row. Single crochet in the top of each stitch across. Okay, when we get to the last stitch of the row, it's a chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. So we're going to work 1 single crochet into the 3rd chain there on the top. And you'll have 27 single crochets across here. Turn your work, and for row 5, we are double crocheting in each stitch across. We'll start with a chain 3 that counts as your first double crochet. I'm going to use my chain 3 alternative here. 1 double crochet in each stitch across the row. Okay, remember at the end of this row, we started the row before with this chain 1, which stands for our first single crochet. So you're going to work into that chain 1 as if it were a stitch. And then you'll have 27 double crochets there as well. Okay, so now our repeat. We're going to repeat rows 2 through 5 3 more times to get our height for our square. And then after you've repeated rows 2 through 5 3 more times, then it's time to repeat 2 through 4 only 1 more time, and that will give us our 8 inches tall. So that means our last row will be a row of single crochet instead of double crochet. And then you cut your yarn and weave in your ends, and you can block your square to the 8 by 8. And that is how you make the Chiaro Square. You can find the written pattern for this on my website, ChristaCoDesign.com.